This NICU nurse was breaking the bones of these preemie babies for fun. This is 26-year-old Erin Stratman of Virginia. She has been charged with felony CA and malicious wounding. I'm seeing some articles say that she wounded 4 babies and some up to 7. So during November and early December, there were at least 4 babies with inexplicable wounds and fractures. This has been happening since 2023 apparently, and there have been up to at least 4 babies that had inexplicable wounds and breaking and fractures of bones that were in the same care as where this nurse was working when she was on shift. Now, parents of one of the babies who suffered at the hands of this nurse spoke out and said that they were heartbroken to discover that their preemie baby Noah suddenly couldn't move his leg in the hospital in September of 2023. They said it was kind of discolored. They told the doctor on staff that they got some x-rays and determined that he fractured his leg. Now, as I said, this baby Noah was just one of 4 in that summer of 2023 who were hurt. And so authorities opened a probe into these fractures that the different babies had. Now, she's apparently been a registered nurse since 2019, and she had been working at the Henrico Doctors Hospital. That's where all of this happened. Authorities are asking for anybody who might have had preemies in the hospital in this time frame, at least from 2023 and 2024, that if they have any recollection of injuries that their child might have sustained, to also report that so that they can look into this. So
imagine the place meant to protect and nurture fragile lives becoming a setting for a nightmare. In a shocking and disturbing case out of Virginia, a neonatal intensive care nurse trusted with the case of premature and vulnerable babies has been arrested for allegedly breaking the bones of newborn black babies. Yes, you heard that right. This story has sparked outrage, grief, and an urgent conversation about accountability in healthcare systems. On this episode, we are looking into this incident, the systematic issue that allowed this to happen, and also the voices of the families demanding justice for what has been done to their baby, and also uncover how this horrifying abuse went unnoticed for so long, and also why this is more than just a single actor. This is about a system that allowed this to happen. Every stitch and every clip that you'll be seeing on our today's episode, credits belongs to the original creators of this video. If you're coming across this channel for the first time, my good name is Gracey D. Kindly consider subscribing to the channel, give this video a like, let me know what your thoughts are on the comment section, and maybe this is actually a time for you if you're actually living in Virginia and maybe some point back you went to have a baby and the baby was premature and came out from this specific hospital with issues. You need to go and report this and have it followed, because this is something that has been happening since 2023. This lady was given a paid leave, and then she was brought back in 2024 and she continued doing what she knows to do best, because I think that's what and all that she can do best. So let's dive right ahead to today's video and we'll come back with more commentary.
She wasn't family like the other NICU nurses were.
He's describing 26-year-old Erin Stratman, the nurse now in jail, charged with felony child neglect and felony malicious wounding.
Wow, those charges sound bad. What could that be about? It is about a nurse in Virginia breaking the bones of babies in a NICU. The most vulnerable, defenseless human beings on the planet, allegedly breaking their bones. Around the end of November 2024, staff members discovered that 3 babies at Henrico Doctors Hospital NICU had unexplainable fractures, similar to an incident involving 4 babies in the summer of 2023. So 3 babies in November of this year, but 4 babies back in 2023. And as part of this story, they announced that they're reopening the investigation in those babies from 2023. Why were those investigations closed? You closed them not knowing how those babies got injured? Like, 4 babies with broken bones in your NICU is a lot. Why would you close the investigation if you had no idea what happened? Well, the reality is they did have an idea what happened.
Stratman was put on paid administrative leave by the hospital for a year after the 2023 cases of NICU abuse came to light, and then was allowed to return in late 2024.
They suspended her for a year with pay. And miraculously, during that year, no babies with broken bones. And then after a year of paying her to sit at home, After clearly suspecting her of being responsible for harming those first 4 children, they brought her back, and what happened? She immediately started breaking babies' bones. Also, I don't know the identity of all the babies involved, but so far the babies that we know about are all black. This hospital should be shut down, and the management company that manages it, because they have multiple hospitals, should really be looked at.
This 26-year-old monster, Erin Elizabeth Ann Strotman from Virginia, was arrested on malicious wounding and felony child abuse as she was going around the NICU breaking the bones of black babies. I cannot make this up. As if black women didn't have enough to worry about when giving birth. In 2021 alone, the maternal mortality rate for non-Hispanic black women in the U.S. was 69.9 deaths per 100,000 live births. This is nearly 3 times the rate of non-Hispanic white women. Studies say some of the contributing factors to this are the cumulative physiological effects of chronic stress. Nobody's disrespected more than black women in this country. Nobody has more obstacles and barriers to face in this country, to overcome in this country, than black women. But I dare to say that the number one reason is because of racial bias in healthcare. So apparently what happened is that these young babies were having unexplained fractures, so the hospital increased surveillance, and the surveillance systems found her breaking the bones of these babies. Now, typically babies that are in NICU are already fighting for dear life, and then you've got monsters like this that are going out there and deliberately, maliciously causing harm. I personally spent 10 years in prison, and I can assure you it will not be nice to her.
This NICU nurse was breaking the bones of these preemie babies for fun. This is 26-year-old Erin Strotman of Virginia. She has been charged with felony CA and malicious wounding. I'm seeing some articles say that she wounded 4 babies and some up to 7. So during November and early December, there were at least 4 babies with inexplicable wounds and fractures. It's been happening since 2023 apparently, and there have been up to at least 4 babies that had inexplicable wounds and breaking and fractures of bones that were in the same care as where this nurse was working when she was on shift. Now, parents of one of the babies who suffered at the hands of this nurse spoke out and said that they were heartbroken to discover that their preemie baby Noah suddenly couldn't move his leg in the hospital in September of 2023. They said it was kind of discolored. They told the doctor on staff that they got some x-rays and determined that he fractured his leg. Now, as I said, this baby Noah was just one of 4 in that summer of 2023 who were hurt. And so authorities opened a probe into these fractures that the different babies had. Now, she's apparently been a registered nurse since 2019, and she had been working at the Henrico Doctors Hospital. That's where all of this happened. Authorities are asking for anybody who might have had preemies in the hospital in this time frame, at least from 2023 and 2024, that if they have any recollection of injuries that their child might have sustained, to also report that so that they can look into this. So I feel like this is going to be an ongoing situation, an investigation, and I think we're just touching the tip of the iceberg, and this is just so sad and so crazy. And I will definitely keep you updated as I try to make sure that I find out the most accurate information to keep delivering.
I just saw this video by Jalen Johnson about a NICU nurse named Erin Strotman who was found hurting children. She was arrested after 3 preemie babies in 1 year were found with broken bones. One was a femur, it was a twin, and her femur was snapped. Now, in my mind, there was actually 7 children who were injured, and she was arrested on like a cutting, stabbing, wound charge of a infant. I haven't done the research into exactly the infant and how they're doing, but I will do an update in the future. But I must say that NICU nurses, as many times as me, as an ultrasound tech, have gone to the NICU to do scans, which is multiple, there have always been more than 2 nurses in the NICU, if not 2 at a minimum. I've never walked into one nurse sitting there. There's always a full staff. Good. So the fact that she found the time to hurt these babies means that if she had more time to be alone, there would be more hurt children. And what about the nurses that get reported? This is a very suspicious situation.
This bitch crazy. Virginia nurse arrested for breaking bones of black.
Let the mamas get at her. Let the mamas get at her. Leave her alone with some of the mothers of the newborns. I'm a mom. And let me tell you right now, as gentle and sweet and wonderful as I am, you mess with my baby. You can put her in jail. When you put her in jail, put her with some women who had babies and let them know what she did. And let nature take its course. That's my recommendation. Oxygen stealers don't deserve oxygen. They steal oxygen. And while we may not have, we might be empathic with some humans, I'm not empathic with the fucking oxygen stealer.
And not just any babies, NICU babies, neonatal intensive care. My mom was a NICU nurse. I'm so upset I can't even talk. Please go watch this stitched video. This makes me so angry. I just can't understand people. And then there's other people like me that say that this stuff doesn't even happen. It doesn't even exist. And yet, look at this. In the NICU, in the neonatal intensive care unit for infants, helpless infants. I hope she gets everything she deserves. Like, I truly, truly do. Because this is just reprehensible. I just can't even wrap my head around this. Evil.
Y'all, this story got me a little bit emotional because it hits really close to home for me. So in Virginia at Henrico Doctors Hospital, they have a NICU, okay? And in that NICU, babies started showing up with unexplained fractures and wounds. Now, this apparently happened over the summer, then it got a little bit better, and then it started happening again. It also happened a few times in 2023, to the point that the NICU said, we are shutting this down, no more NICU admissions until we figure out what's going on. And an investigation was launched. And it turned out a 26-year-old nurse by the name of Elizabeth Stratman was the one who is allegedly committing these acts, apparently for just funsies. Now, she's been charged with malicious wounding and felony child abuse, but let me kind of put my take on this. My daughter was born at 29 weeks and 3 days. We spent 43 days in the NICU. These babies are the most vulnerable of the most vulnerable. And the fact that somebody could harm children, let alone premature infants, is beyond reprehensible. And I hope that the full weight of the law comes down on her. So I will say this too. If you had a child in the NICU at Henrico Doctors Hospital in Virginia and you dealt with a fracture sometime while you were there, you may want to reach out to investigators.
What this headline fails to point out is that these babies are black and she is a white supremacist. Very integral parts of this story, correct? This is what we mean when the philosophy of racism is very, very dangerous. These are premature black babies whose families are already dealing with enough, and she is breaking their arms. Because this person does not like black people, hates them, feels as though they do not deserve a good quality of life, she has hurt them. This is why I struggle with the principle of abolition. I think that she should not only be under the jail, but maybe we will continue to see an influx of white supremacy and the dangers and violence of it because of who is at the top of America's leadership. So it is our job to fight against it. Keep your head on a swivel.
Did you guys hear about the hospital who had at least 7 NICU babies with fractures and other injuries, and they were trying to figure out who the common link was, who could have done this to these babies? Well, someone has been arrested, and here she is. Her name is Erin Stratman. Here are the charges right here. Malicious wounding. I mean, come on, what she put these babies through. Now, apparently there was also an incident where she had a young dog in her care who also passed away. So I would really like to know what happened to that animal. So apparently there were 3 patients between November and December who had fractures. And you guys, the parents could have been blamed for this. These parents easily could have lost their babies when they didn't do anything to their child. And then in the summer of 2023, there were 4 other incidents that occurred. And honestly, I feel like it's taken too long to narrow it down to her. Hospitals have so much documentation on things. There's no way they didn't know who was around all of these babies. But hopefully the fact that it did take longer than I feel it should have means that they have a solid case against her. I truly don't understand how anyone in their right mind could ever hurt a baby. And a NICU baby, no less, the most vulnerable.
I've been in such a state of shock after seeing the NICU nurse that was arrested in Virginia for abusing babies, specifically babies of color. And I did a contract there in 2021. And I'm pretty sure I saw her in passing, but obviously I was in the OR. I was not in the NICU. I've never worked in the NICU a day in my life, but I've seen a lot of NICU nurses weighing in on, oh, well, NICU nurses are never alone with a baby. Like, how is this possible for her to do this so many times? And why did that hospital system let her back? And all I'm going to say, as somebody that did a contract at that hospital, is they are chronically understaffed. Chronically understaffed. Our nurse manager at the time was a traveler. We had so much turnover in the operating room and could not keep staff. There were times where I worked 20 hours straight being called in the middle of the night because they were that short-staffed. That's how that happened. And it's unsafe, it's unacceptable, but I pray that bringing this to light will protect future babies there. And the fact that people like that still exist in healthcare is so disheartening, but it is a reality. And nurses, if you see something, if you hear comments from anybody, report, because we have to protect these patients. As healthcare professionals, we take an oath to protect these patients. And even if you weren't directly involved in it, if you see anything concerning, if people are not treating patients equally, ethically, report it. I saw enough of that in Alabama, and I know that it is very real and completely exists, and it is so sad, but we've got to do a better job of reporting these kind of people and getting them out of healthcare, because that should never happen.
Hurt me to my core. So that's why I'm coming here to clear this up and make this video, to make it known, because I know the media is not going to give you guys the whole rundown or the storyline the way it was actually going down. So remember the video that I posted with the NICU nurse that got arrested and busted? The babies were African American babies that they found with multiple bone fractures. Okay, these babies were, she was on the investigation for a minute, and then once they found what they found and they locked her up, they was able to run some more tapes and look back at other, situations and realize that she is the one that is involved in causing fractures to these babies in the NICU. These babies are already in the NICU, going through a lot. They're placed there to kind of increase the survival rate, okay? And for her to come here and violate them to this magnitude, it hurt me to my core. And I'm not going to be a gatekeeper. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to come. That's why I'm making this video again as a recap, to let it known that these babies that she caused to have multiple mysterious bone fractures are African American babies. Guys, take it for what you will, but I think we all need to know this. Okay, and this is facts. You can research it on your own and you'll see that this is not stories that is being made up. This is actual facts. No level of individual, a grown woman of 26 years of age, should turn around and place any baby under this type of circumstances. Okay, I am beyond upset. I am beyond bothered. I am very, very much like, words cannot express. Words cannot express. Okay, these are the type of people you guys are going to hire to work in your organization, to care for babies who needed you the most. Wow, just wow, unbelievable. Okay, I hope she get punished to the full magnitude of what the requirements of the state would allow, and she would not be let out no time soon or ever, to cause any more pain upon any parent ever again. I hope this is it. I hope. I really do. And I'm upset with the media for not releasing this information. I don't understand what's the holdback. I don't understand. If you do something that is inappropriate, you should be held accountable. Hiding and sugarcoating is not it. Okay? I'm going to say this and I'm going to end this video. They are African American babies that she did what she did to. Thank you.
You know, I had a NICU baby with a mysterious broken bone that we never did get to the bottom of. And I would bet good money that in the case of this nurse who has been arrested for breaking the bones of babies in the NICU, before there was a pattern, before there was an investigation, there were the first parents or the first couple sets of parents who had babies turn up with broken bones, and the system just told them, cost of doing business, or essentially, it would be too inconvenient for us to waste time trying to figure out what or who broke your baby's bone. Ask me how I know.
Another day, another crazy story that has absolutely blown me away. And I don't understand why I'm still shocked. Maybe I still have an ounce of faith in humanity, but at this point, what the heck? So y'all heard about the nurse who just got arrested for intentionally breaking the bones of NICU babies, specifically black ones. And as I dug a little deeper and did some more research, she was placed on administrative leave back in 2023, allowed to come back, and she did the same thing. There are 7 babies that we know of that she harmed, but who knows how many more there are. One in particular was a twin whose femur was snapped. What? I hope those families sue the hospital and everybody involved for every penny that they have, and the hospital is named after all these babies that she hurt. And I hope she never sees the light of day again.
Going around the NICU, breaking the bones of black babies.
That's funny. She doesn't look illegal. She didn't look like she crossed the border illegally, unless it was Canada. And yet here she is, harming babies, children. I guess her name is too long for y'all to, put into some sort of goofy song though, right? You gonna say those babies' names? Because it ain't the first time she did it. This is the time she got caught, but this is not the first time she's done this. So all of you save the babies, protect the babies folk against the illegals. Are you gonna say this woman's name? You're going to plaster her picture all over the place? You're going to go into lives talking about how she's violent towards children? I would hold my breath to see whether you would, but then I'd be dead.
Before I even give my commentary, guys, I had done a little research of, the struggles that black women go through while giving birth in the United States of America. So there is high mortality rates. Black women are 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes than white women. In 2021, the maternal mortality rate for black women was nearly 70 deaths per 100,000 live births. Pregnancy complications. Black women are most likely to experience life-threatening conditions like postpartum, hemorrhage, and blood clots. They also have higher rates of preterm birth and low birth weight. Racism in healthcare. Black women often don't receive the same quality of care as white women. They report mistreatment and discrimination during maternity care and feel that healthcare professionals don't listen to them. And it's true, this is something I've seen women doing videos about this. I've even seen a white nurse who actually did video to confirm this, saying that how nurses and doctors don't listen to black women, during childbirth. And it's quite sad. I don't know why they do this. I don't even get to understand how someone can be carrying so much hate in their heart and also be able to live. I mean, it's just so crazy, guys. So, underlying health conditions, Black women are more likely to have pre-existing cardiovascular conditions that increase the risk of maternal mortality. Social determinants of health, social and economic inequalities, including including income and health insurance coverage, contribute to worse health outcomes for people of color. This is quite sad, guys. And there's this time I had this story of Black women not being given enough anesthesia when they're giving birth, because these people, they believe that we Black people have that strength to, we have that strength of perseverance to pain, and it's okay for them. They can just do CS or any surgeries without giving any anesthesia to this person, because they believe that Black people are so strong that they can persevere anything, and they can do surgeries, they can do CS without them not being given anesthesia. And this is something that was happening, and this is sometimes back I was reading and also watched some videos on social media saying that this was actually also used as, tests to learn Black people, and it's quite sad. Now, on top of all that, on top of all these things that Black women go through giving birth, now this 26 years old lady just sat down one day, who even took an oath to protect her patients. She sat down one day and she thought, yeah, it's okay for me to just go breaking Black newborns babies' bones just because I don't like them, or just because they don't deserve to, they don't deserve to grow just like any other kids. They don't deserve it, or maybe they are so strong that they can persevere this pain. Can you imagine? Like, it's so sad talking about these guys. It's sad even when I watched these videos. Like, I've never been this emotional. I've seen things done to people. I've seen Black people going through a lot of things in the United States of America. But can you imagine doing this to an innocent baby who cannot even fight for themselves, who cannot even talk to say what they're going through or what you're doing to them? And she just sat there, and for her it was okay to do what she was doing. And sometimes in 2023 she was given a paid leave, and this is actually, I believe, after the facility found out what she was doing, and maybe they were like, for the kids, for the babies that have been hurt, maybe she's gonna change that, we've noticed. And they never bothered to report. They were doing some investigation, and the case was closed, even without no results or no nothing, just because they didn't care. And they brought her back to work in 2024, and she ended up doing the same thing. Now she's been caught. I can't even imagine what these parents, what these mothers that gave birth to these babies are going through right now. I can't even start imagining what the babies are going through, the pain and all that. I hope she never gets to see the light of a day. I hope she never gets to taste what freedom tastes like anymore. And I hope this facility gets closed. And this is why I was also looking at another video I saw of this guy saying of how this Black guy came up with a hospital that was meant for Black people, which was later closed and later reopened, whereby even doctors from Europe and even white doctors would go to study in that hospital, and they could not believe, because that's where they had the greatest surgeons of all. And for me to the things that I've been learning, and these white doctors who went there, and they are these the people that are doing these surgeries? Are these the surgeons that are doing this great work? And this specific guy greeted that doctor, and they were like, I want to shake your hand. And they were like, I can't believe that these are the hands with the blood of, as they call us, running through your veins, that you can do all these. And that guy had the audacity. I mean, the hate, like, I don't even, like, I'm trying to understand all these guys. I'm trying to understand where all this hate came from. And I just can't. It's just like, it's just too much to take in. And it's sad that I saw even, you know, this black woman that I saw, that for her, she's surprised, but she's not even that much surprised, because she knew that these people would do anything. The only thing that hurt her the most is that she gave humanity the benefit of the doubt when it comes to these people, that, you know, they can do anything to hurt people. And it's quite sad, guys. Yeah, that is what's happening, and that's what's been trending. Like, that's why, people, you should be watching the news. You should be watching what's happening on the news for you to stay updated, because sometimes the news that you don't want to watch, thinking that it's all about politics and the bad things that you don't want to hear, some of these news might be saving you. Because imagine if you're pregnant and you're planning to go to this facility, and you just watched what's been happening in this facility. That will save you a lot, especially if you're a black woman. So yeah, don't stop watching the news. Always stay updated and see what's happening. Yeah, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching up to this part, and until the next episode, bye.